Shalom, shalom. We're going to pick up where we left off, which is what happens when we don't forgive ourselves. Because again, when you don't forgive yourself, one can become very stressed. And stress comes with a lot more serious situations, a lot more elements. So, here you can see, can stress make you sick? Stress is your body's response to an actual perceived threat, and that's true. Some stress is good for you, and that's true as well. Because when you read in First Chronicles, I believe, the 32nd chapter, it doesn't. A lot of things aren't going to say what we may think in the scriptures, but that's how we know how they felt through the spirit. Or we know and understand one would feel that way put in their position. So like First Chronicles, might be Second Chronicles. Does this sit? Here we go. Second Chronicles 32:1. After these things, the establishment thereof, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and entered into Judah and encamped against the fenced cities and thought to win them for himself. And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was come and that he was proposed to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel. That was the first thing he did, was take counsel. That's beautiful. Most people, if they're going to war, they kind of get stressed. They say, what do we do? How do I do that? I'm kind of scared. This man took counsel. He could say, figure it out yourself. And whatever. That's a problem for tomorrow me. No, and, he wasn't stressed either. That's the point. We see him being put up and against the wall, and he's taking action. Sometimes that's what guilt would do to you. It'll put you and pin you up against the wall. But are you going to take action? Let's find out what he did. He took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains which were without the city, and they did help him. So there was gathered much people together who stopped all the fountains and the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water? Also, he strengthened himself. It said he strengthened himself, right? And built up the wall. Hey, that's what you got to do in this thing. He strengthened himself. He said, all right, I know what I got to do. Hey, man, we know one would feel stressed and feel kind of, damn, what do I do? This man is making moves, although he's in a tight predicament. You got to make a way, man. That's why you got to deal with it and just kind of figure stuff out. You got to make moves. You got to make a plan. It says he strengthened himself and built up all the wall that was broken and raised it up to the towers and another wall without, and repaired Milo in the city of David and made darts and shields in the abundance. And he set captains of war over the people and gathered them together in the street of the gate of the city and spake comfortably to them, saying. So in the midst of all that hell breaking loose and just hoping something happened, he spake what? It says he spake comfortably to them. See what happens when you feel confident and you're not letting your situation weigh you down. You kind of calm through the spirit. You know how to handle things. Therefore, he spake comfortably to them. He said this, saying, be strong and courageous. This is mighty. He said, be strong and courageous. Be not afraid, nor dismayed for the king of Assyria, nor all the multitude that is with him. For there be more with us than with him. With him is an arm of flesh. And he said, with him is an arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us. See, so the next time you feel like you're at war with Satan, with spirits, your family, your folks. You got to tell yourself that. You have to put this in your mind. You have to recall upon the accounts of your forefathers what they did when they was put in sticky situations and they felt stressed. You have to remember that. If you don't, I mean, what are you reading the scriptures for? It says it's written for our learning and our understanding, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures have hope. It says through comfort of the scriptures. That's why, first of all, the word isn't too far from us at all, like it says in Deuteronomy 30, if I'm not mistaken. The word isn't, we don't got to go up to the sky, we don't got to skydive. It's like, what is that, scuba dive. We don't got to walk down the street. The word is right there. It's right on your phone. So you shouldn't be worried and stressed because the Lord is right there. He's everywhere around you. All you got to do is just open up the book. Like as I mentioned earlier in the other video, he's knocking, but are you going to open up the door? Because the moment you open it up, you open up the scriptures and you allow all this wisdom to just marinate in your brain, in your mind. So when these unforeseen, unpredictable, unfortunate situations arise, you know how to deal with it because you recalled and read the precepts. But I digress. He says again in verse 8, with him is an arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us and to fight our battles. And the people rested themselves upon the words of Hezekiah, the king of Judah. That's a mighty account. People rested upon his words. Hey, we rest upon the words of the Lord. That's why he's our rock and he's our rest. That's why he said, hey, I shall not want. I lie down in green pastures. And we're not going to lack anything. But you have to tell yourself in those tough situations. So the next time you ask for faith or strength or not to be stressed, remember the Lord's going to bless you in person. Meaning you're going to be put in uncomfortable situations. And being in those uncomfortable situations, he wants to see how you're going to respond. He gave you the tools, but are you going to use it? Are you going to fumble? Are you going to forget how to use them? So back to this portion, right? Can stress make you sick? Right? It can suppress your immune system and cause you to get sick more easily. I actually known a sister that she was so stressed she got sick. Prolonged periods of stress can also increase your risk of several diseases, including heart disease and cancer. According to a study, 60 to 80% of doctors' office visit may be stress related. I mean, the Lord said, if it's not of faith, then it is sin. And if you're in sin, you don't have the angels protecting you. And if the angel's not protecting you, now you have all these spirits, such as cancers and heart disease. All these spirits are finding their way in your temple. Stress can cause a number of physical symptoms and illnesses. Symptoms can come on as soon as your level of stress increases and worsen as stress continues. These symptoms usually go away once your stress level lowers. Some of the symptoms commonly caused by stress include increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, rapid breathing, shortness of breath, muscle tension, headache, nausea, and dizziness. You letting them spirits work you. Them spirits is beating your ass. Literally, they're literally beating your ass. That's what you get dizzy, kind of. You may, it's not funny, but you may not see it. They're kind of doing this to you. Satan is slapping you silly. It's a reason why people kind of dizzy. Your muscle, tension muscle. It's like your muscle tension. You get headaches because you're getting knocked up by spirits. You're breathing all hard, trying to catch your breath. And of course, what follows is increased heart rates. So this is real life. When you feel guilty, you should feel, which pretty much is being stressed, those spirits is beating your asses because you didn't want to fortify your temples and your walls like Hezekiah. Neither did you want to seek counsel. So the Common Code, the 2012 study found that the chronic physical stress prevents the body from properly regulating the inflammatory response. Inflammation has been linked to the development and progression of many diseases. People who are exposed to long periods of stress are more likely to develop clots of it upon exposure to the cold causing germs. And it reads, evidence shows that stress stops your gastrointestinal system from working properly. And again, you getting your ass beat. That's what's going on. Working properly, affecting your stomach and large bowels. Stress can cause a wide range of gastrointestinal symptoms, including abdominal pain. Not abominable, but abdominal pains. You got to understand, if you Google fights, or if you've been in a fight, I mean, did you not have these same symptoms? You got to catch your breath, muscle tension, headache, nausea, tension. A physical fight, you have the same symptoms. But when you're stressed, you equally have the exact same symptoms. Why is that? If nobody's physically beating your ass, who is spiritually beating your ass? These demons. You know, I had a friend in high school. She said, yeah, I keep waking up with bruises. I said, those spirits are whooping your ass. Because you keep, I might not have said it like that, but nevertheless, I mentioned, because you're dealing with damn witchcraft. She would seek out familiar spirits and go to people that do the Ouija boards, whatever they're called. And she would say, I'm waking up with bruises all over the place. I said, you're done. You got to repent. Stress has also been shown to aggravate the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, aka IBS, and it may be one of the main causes of IBS. If you suffer from stomach acid reflux with heartburn, stress can worsen your symptoms by increasing your sensitivity to stomach acid. If not well controlled, inflammation from stomach acid erosion raises your risk of peptic ulcers, chronic diarrhea, or constipation. Can lead to conditions such as hemorrhoids. You don't want to go out like that. Those spirits beating your ass that bad, you just shit yourself. You don't want to go out like that. Stop thinking these spirits is spookism and hokey pokey. Stop thinking this is damn make believe. These spirits are real. They beat that. Let me get that. I mean, this is physical, but it means that spirit jumped on somebody. This Acts, what is this? I want to say the 21st chapter. It might be the 19th. This Acts 19 and 16. It's like in what should we do? I'll start at verse 12. So that from his body were wrought unto the sick handkerchiefs and aprons, and the diseases departed from them. Diseases departed from them. The spirits hopped off, and the evil spirits went out of them. So when you're stressed and you have that heavy guilt that's weighing you down, you have a spirit on you. Then the certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, so you had exorcists back in the day, took upon them call over them which had evil spirits, the name of the Lord Yahushai, saying, we adjure you by Yahushai, whom Paul preacheth. And there were 7 sons of one Sceva, a Jew, and chief of the priests which did so. And the evil spirit answered. Right? The evil spirit answered. So when you have demons on, you kind of just say anything. You kind of look, your eyes kind of get all bugged out. your voice, it drops 10 octaves, whatever. You know, that's spirits. Uh, and the evil spirit answered and said, Yahushua I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye? And again, these spirits know you. Stop thinking they don't. And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of that house naked and wounded. See that? And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them. Just beating their ass, man. So let's get this last account. We're gonna end it with the Howard Shire. This is Luke 22 and 44. And being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Now, of course, Yahushua felt this way for a reason, right? But some of you, you may be stressed, and this can happen to you too. He was stressed for a great reason, right? But a lot of you in Israel, you're stressed, and this can happen to you as well. And your reasons, it may seem big, but in reality, it's small. So here's a medical term, so-called medical term, that Esau has for what happened to Yahushua. And it's hematidrosis. All right. They kind of give some butt answers, but yeah, it pretty much happens when you're stressed. For real, that can happen when you're stressed. There isn't much information available on hematidrosis. I mean, again, it's spirits. Because it's so rare, it isn't clearly understood. When it happens to man, Israel, I would say, Yahweh is excluded, of course, because a lot of things he did and a lot of things that happened to him happened just for our learning and our sake. But on the carnal level, with us in this physical realm, this can happen to you because you're stressed and you have guilt, or pretty much chiefly stress. However, hematidrosis generally happens when a person feels intense fear or stress. Someone facing death may have this kind of fear or stress. For example, when you are under stress, your body goes into flight or fight mode. This is a natural reaction to perceive a threat. It helps us to survive potentially dangerous situations. The body releases chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol that prepares us to either fight or to flee danger. We become more alert and our energy increases. This bodily response is usually temporary and doesn't cause long-term health damages. But in rare instances, fight or flight response can trigger the rupture of capillaries in the body. And I believe that's in your skin. Your skin. In the body, capillaries are tiny. Okay, it's like here. Capillaries are tiny blood vessels located throughout the tissue. They carry essential nutrients to different parts of the body. Capillaries are also located around the sweat glands. See that? So that's playing upon tables. So let's get to the last video, if it loads. So again, Aparatizai is what's been edified through the spirit of power Yahweh Shema Shai. We're gonna close out with this video. We're not gonna watch the entire thing.
When we are challenged or overwhelmed, but more than just an emotion, Stress is a hardwired physical response that travels throughout your entire body. In the short term, stress can be advantageous, but when activated too often or too long, your primitive fight or flight stress response not only changes your brain, but also damages many of the other organs and cells throughout your body. Your adrenal gland releases the stress hormones cortisol, epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, and norepinephrine. As these hormones travel through your bloodstream, they easily reach your blood vessels and heart. Adrenaline causes your heart to beat faster and raises your blood pressure, over time causing hypertension. Cortisol can also cause the endothelium, or inner lining of blood vessels, to not function normally. Scientists
This is on a scientific, so-called Esau level. But we understand on a greater spiritual level that it's spirits beating your ass. That's it. When you're stressed and feeling that guilt. So again, if you want to watch that video in your own time, that's the link. That's the title. Our that Israel's been edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.